أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to the class again. How's everybody? UK is getting cooler every single day. Yesterday it was raining. I was driving back from Leicester and it was raining so hard that I really couldn't see the road in front of me. But as soon as I got close to Reading, the rain actually got completely vanished, and it was completely dry over there. Walaikum salam, Talha. How are you doing? Good. How about your part? Is it getting cooler? It's immediately got some sort of cold wave coming in the UK. At least in my side, on my side of the city. I mean the Reading area. It's a bit cooler. I mean 3 days back it was like 32 degrees. And today it's not pretty chilly. It's relatively chilly going on here. So it's about 18 or so. So about 50% or 45% drop in the temperature in just 1 day or two. Yeah, so it's so probably from the UK standards, but summer is almost over. So summer is like 2-3 months max. Walaikum assalam rahmatullah. Imran, how are you? Good. So summer is like very short span of time here, and I mean, do all the barbecues, buddy. As much as you want, it's going away, and then there's none, and then it's gonna be all winter again. But alhamdulillah, everything is a blessing, and winter has its own reasons, own 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 purposes. So I think it has its own beauty as well at the same time. Good. Thank you for joining the class. So I hope the last class was useful. You got something new in that last class. We still not finished with the topic. So what I want to do today is, as always, very quick review of the previous class, what we did, and we will continue the study of ism-based sentences. I will tell you more about zarf that I did not tell you last time. And then we'll jump into the practice, and we'll do a lot of practice today. So I just want to make sure when we close the ism-based topic, ism-based sentence topic, we have very good understanding and grasp of this before we stop studying ism for a while and jump into the fail. Okay, so I just want to make sure. If you want, I can pitch in a tiny test for you. So there's an online test I can create, and just to assess how well your understanding is. So I'll have to spend some time on that, of course. But if you're interested, I can send around a test where you can fill it in and then see your scores, how you have done, and I think that can help you assess where your understanding stands. But nothing to assess you as an individual. I'm not gonna check it, and probably review the test in the class. And the test is going to be kind of open book. So talk to anyone, read any book, regardless, doesn't matter. So just solve it. So as far as you solve it on your own, I mean, you are your own evaluator. So yeah, of course, that's how it works with us, isn't it, Imran? So motivation, last minute test. I remember the time when, and probably that I can also recall that because we've studied together quite a long time. So 3 days, 2 days, 4 days before the tests, everything starts. Nights and really heavy study all the time. And the time before it, it's like fun all the time. Cricket, bicycling, and stuff like that. This is how we work, isn't it? It's fun. Cool. Okay, so if you, I will try to look into the test. Inshallah. So probably there should be one already prepared. So I'll check that, and I'll send around the link. Okay, so just you can just give it a shot. So probably let's do the test after next weekend. So test is coming. So use the next weekend and next week to just practice what we have learned, so you're prepared for the test. If I give you test today, then you're not going to be able to, won't be solving it until you have revised everything. So let's revise for the next entire week until the next Sunday, and I'll release the test, let's say on Monday or so, and then on the next weekend we can come and review the test. Okay, so you have the entire week to solve the test. So inshallah, and the test is not going to take much if you really understand the concept. So it should not be more than a 20 minutes exercise really. So okay, so let's do that inshallah. So I'll try to bring something up. Good. Excellent. So let me yes, since 1993. Yes, time flies. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen very soon, inshallah. And we will just quickly do the review of what we have done last time. So what we were doing was effectively ism-based sentences. Okay, ism-based sentences. We call them Jumla Ismiyah. We call them Jumla Ismiyah. Jumlatun Ismiyatun. Jumlatun Ismiyatun. And we said a basic ism-based sentence is the one that has a word is in it, which is the to be. And it is used in many forms: is, am, and so on, are. That's what we have been doing all this time. And then what we started to do was we started to study the structure of the word, of the ism-based sentence yesterday. And let's quickly revise that structure of the ism-based sentence again. I've brought in the same table, but it's empty this time. All you know is the 1, 2, 3. There are 3 elements in the ism-based sentence structure. There's one element which is before is, and the other 2 elements which are after is. Let's quickly fill that in, so we are all on the same page, and then we'll go forward, inshallah. So the part before is, anyone remembers what is it called? Anyone remembers what is it called? You want to tell me what is it called? Part before is. The part before is. It's called the mubtada. Correct. It's called the mubtada. Mubtada. Okay? It's called the mubtada. Now, then there were 2 parts after it. Then there was khabar. Correct, Imran. Very good. And the last one was muta'alliq. Muta'alliq. Muta'alliq bil khabar. Bil khabar. Okay? Muta'alliq bil khabar. Okay? So mubtada, some people just label it as M. We label it as 1. Really, what works for you? Khabar, some people label it as K. And we label it as 2 because we want to know the sequence as well. And muta'alliq bil khabar, many label it as MBK. So I label it as 3 because I want to understand the structure as well, the sequence of the structure, right? Now, what can be mubtada? What can be mubtada? Do we know what can be mubtada? What types of words can be mubtada? What exactly can be mubtada? That's what I'm after. Any ideas? Any shots? Yeah. So what can be mubtada is effectively ism in rafa, and harf of nasab and its ism. Okay, harf of nasab and its ism. These things can be mubtada. So whenever these 2 things occur, there is usually an invisible is after it. There is an invisible is after it. Okay, and it's called mubtada because it starts the sentence, just like ibtada. Ibtada is to start the sentence. Mubtada is the one that starts the sentence. Okay, good. Then we have khabar. Khabar was pretty simple. We said khabar can be ism in rafa. Ism in rafa. Okay, this is khabar. Khabar is some detail or information about the mubtada, for example, or about the sentence being talked about something being talked about, okay, in a sentence. And then we had this muta'alliq bil khabar, muta'alliq bil khabar, and muta'alliq bil khabar we said that it can be a harf of jar, a harf of jar, which is effectively jar majroor, right? If you remember, jar majroor, jar majroor. Okay. Let me just give it a bit more space here. Yes, effectively jar majroor, and we have idafa with zarf. Idafa with zarf. Now, you don't know what this zarf is, right? So right now, I'll tell you today what this zarf is. Okay, idafa with zarf. Okay? Zarf. Zarf effectively is a special mudaf. These are special mudafs. We'll talk about it today, just now, in a few minutes. Special mudafs. Okay. In fact, let me call it some special mudaf, not all. Okay. So that's what we have, right? Structure of the ism-based sentence. Now, which ones were the mandatory parts and which were not? What was the status of mubtada? Was it a mandatory element? Was it a mandatory element in the sentence? So mubtada was indeed a mandatory element of a sentence. You must have it. You must have it. Okay. You cannot just ignore it. Any ism-based sentence would have it. Then khabar is optional. Okay. So is the muta'alliq bil khabar. They're also optional. They both are optional. However, there is a requirement. One of them must exist. One of them must exist. Okay. One of them must exist. Okay. So although they are optional, well, one of them must exist. Okay. So they cannot be absent together at the same time. Okay. They cannot be absent together at the same time. So that's what we did, right? Okay. Then we jumped into a lot of practice in the class, which I'm going to continue here as well. But before I continue that practice, I want to give you what is zarf. Okay. What is zarf? Anything we are forgetting that we did last time? Anything that we did and I'm not talking about? Okay. So what is zarf? Zarf is very simple concept. Zarf is a very simple concept, and you know already what is zarf. What are zarfs? But let me help you revise again. So what is a zarf? We have done zarfs already, but you just don't know it that you have done it. Okay? Okay? In a very simple terminology, in a very, very simple way, I can define zarf for you as follows. A zarf is a special mudaf, that denotes time or place. Done. That's it. Zarf is a special mudaf that denotes time or place. That is the definition of zarf. It is a special mudaf. Okay? It is a special mudaf, but not all the special mudafs that you know. A subset of those special mudafs are zarf, the ones that denote the time and place. Okay? Let me tell you which ones. Okay? Let me tell you which ones. For example, we have a special mudaf which is ba'ada. Let me just take you to your notes instead of typing all of this here. Let's go to page number. Let's go to page number 22. Okay, your page number 22. Now this is a chart where you have all the special mudafs that we have done, right? All the special mudaf. When we were doing these special mudafs, I told you leave the highlighted ones for now, okay? And I'll come back to them later on. So these highlighted ones are the ones that are zarf, because they represent time and place. For example, ba'ada means after. After is a representation of a place. So either before or after. Okay, before or after. It's a place. It's a place, right? So opposite to ba'da is Let me start pointing them out as well. Give me a second. Okay. So ba'da, this is what I'm talking about. Ba'da. Okay. Now opposite to ba'da is qabla. Right? Ba'da and qabla. The ba'da is after, qabla is before. Okay. So these are all places. They represent place. Okay. Okay. Then you have khalfa. Khalfa means behind. Khalfa means behind. It can represent time as well, of course. It can also represent time. I'm just trying to explain just to understand. It can represent time and place both. Yes. So after certain time or before certain time, that's fine. Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, I'm just trying to explain that. That's why I just restricted it to place. But yes, it can represent time as well as the place. It's a valid point. Okay. So khalafa is behind, and amama is in front. Amama is in front of. Okay. In front of. Now this is specifically places, right? It's place. Khalafa is behind, and imama is effectively in front of. Similar to that is quddama, which is right in front of. The difference between imama in front of and right in front of is kind of a distance. So if someone is right in front of, very visible, that's kind of quddama. Imama is in front of, it could have a bit of more distance. There's a context to it right now, like that, okay? So, but if you see, all of these meanings are somehow representing time and place, okay? Time and place. Or time or place. Some would represent only time, some would represent only place. The usage is context-based, okay? But they would always be representing either time or place, okay? Then you have tahta, is below. Tahta is below. Min tahti al-anhar. You may have read this in the Quran. Min tahti al-anhar. And below them there are rivers that are flowing. Okay? Tahta is below. Okay? Opposite to tahta is fawqa, which is above. Above. Okay? Okay? Similar to khalafa, which it's also wara'a. Wara'a means behind or sometimes beyond as well. Okay? Beyond. Okay? And then baina is between. Between. Hawla is around or surrounding. Inda is used in many forms, many meanings, with, at, has, by, beside, but it's also a zarf. Okay, it's also a zarf. And ma'a is with. Inna ma'al usri yusra. This is the ma'a. Okay, inna ma'al usri yusra. Okay, these ones are zarf. All the others are not. Okay, all the others are not here. Okay, the ones highlighted are the zarfs. So when you have an idafa with these zarfs, then you call it muta'alliq bil khabar. Okay, when you have an idafa with these zarfs, you call them muta'alliq bil khabar in an ism based sentence in the Jumla Ismiyah. Okay, right? So you may not be able to recall them very quickly in the beginning, I still get to the table once in a while, keep on forgetting even their meanings, but that's fine as far as you know. So you can keep the chart in front of you while you do the analysis. It's fine. You can go back to this table again and again, and there comes a time where they start to become a bit more comfortable. Okay. So that's the whole story about the zarf. Okay. Yes, mudaf ilay should be in jar state. Correct. Correct. So is there a question on this, Dala? Do you have a question in mind? Is it because of that purpose is harf of? So I don't understand the relation you're trying to establish between zarf and harf of jar. So zarf does not have a relationship between zarf and harf of jar as such. Zarf are mudafs. They are mudafs. Okay, and they're normal isms. They're just like normal isms. Okay, but they are mudafs. And mudaf can be in any state, rafa nasab jar, that's fine. But the mudaf ilay would always be jar. If they're coming after the harf of jar, they would be jar, yes. But their status may not be all the time like that. Some of them would be inflexible. Fawqa may remain fawqa, for example, but you would know the status because of the context of harf of jar. Okay, so just treat them as mudafs, normal mudafs, and the mudaf ilay would be in jar state after them. Okay. All right. Okay. So now you know these. Let's go back here. Okay. So this is zarf. There's nothing. That's why I said some special mudafs. Some special mudaf, not all of them. Some special mudafs. Okay. So now you understand the context or the entire structure of ism-based sentence. Okay. And you also understand the zarf. Now let's jump on to the practice, and let's do the practice big time. So a lot of practice today, because I just want to make sure that we all understand this. Okay, inshallah. Good. So let's go to your notes again. In your notes, let's jump on to where we left last time. Okay. On this exercise, did you try to do any? Let's do it here. Let's do it here. Let's start here. Let's start with this one. Let's start with this one. I want to just emphasize on practice today. Let's do it practice, and I really want you to help me out with this. Think about it. Make mistakes. It's fine. Let's do it together. But let's make sure that the concept is completely stoned in your mind. It's completely stoned in your mind. Okay? Then inshallah we're good. So ilahukum ilahun wahidun. Ilahukum ilahun wahidun. So the way we do it is we first go and identify all the fragments. Okay? We go identify all the fragments, and then we go identify invisible is. Okay? And then we go and label them, which is mubtada, which is khabar, and which is muta'alliq bil khabar. That's the sequence. Okay? Let's identify the fragments first. Do you see fragments here? Do you see any fragments here? Any fragments operating here? I'm looking at ilahukum. What does it make you feel? I'm looking at this one, ilahukum. So ilahukum, in my view, is an idafa. It's an idafa. Ilahu is light, no al followed by jar, which is an attached pronoun. It's an idafa with a pronoun. Okay. How about ilahun wahidun? Ilahun wahidun. How about ilahun wahidun? Is there anything happening on ilahun wahidun? Ilahun wahidun here. Ilahun wahidun. Okay. So if I do 4 properties of them, let's try to do, they look like a masuf sifa, don't they? So let's verify that. 4 properties of ilahun. What are the 4 properties of ilahun? It's rafa, it's singular, it's masculine, it's common. And wahidun is rafa, it's singular, it's masculine, it's common. Okay? So I can say, okay, this is kind of masuf sifa. Okay? This is a masuf sifa. Masuf sifa. Okay? This is masuf sifa. I verified that. Now, cool. That's wonderful. Now, where is the invisible is? Where is the invisible is? And why? Which rule applies here? I want to find the invisible is. So I'm looking at ilahu kum. Okay? And then ilahun wahidun. Okay? So the first rule says independent pronoun, I don't see it. Then it says pointer words, I don't see it. Okay? Then I don't see it. And then it says harf of nasab, and it's ism. I don't see a harf of nasab, and it's ism. Then it says proper followed by common. I need to check. So do we have a proper followed by common here? After ilahun, you're saying, Talha? After ilahun? Okay, so what makes you think it's after ilahun? So just keep one thing in mind. If you have a fragment, listen to this carefully. So how is it breaking the chain after ilahun? We just said it's masuf sifa, didn't we? Ilahun wahidun is masuf sifa, and therefore there's no break in the chain after ilahun, right? It's connected to wahidun as a fragment, isn't it? It's masuf sifa fragment. So whenever you have these fragments, you cannot break them and put an is between them, right? You just cannot. You either put an is after the fragment, you never put it between the fragment. Nothing is matching where? Nothing is matching where? Between whom? Ilahun and wahidun? Are you saying nothing is matching between ilahun and wahidun here? Is that what you're talking about? If this is what you're talking about, 4 properties, right? So the 4 properties match, it's masuf sifa. Properties match, and it's masuf sifa. Okay? So we cannot break them apart. Oh yeah, in the first 4 rules, okay, in the first 4 rules, the first pointer doesn't agree with you that the pronoun does not match, the pointer does not match, the the harf of nasab does not match, okay? And the 4th one is proper followed by common, okay? Proper followed by common. Now, let's see if the first ism coming is proper or not. What is the type of ilahun? What is the type of ilahun? This is what I'm looking at right now. What is the type of ilahun? Can we find the type of ilahun here? What do you think? Can I do 4 properties of ilahun? It's rafa, it's singular, okay? It's masculine, and what is the type? Why feminine, Tala? Why feminine? Why fake feminine? What makes you believe it's fake feminine? What is indicating that it's feminine? Which rule applies? I just want to make sure I've done it right. So yes, it starts with Hamza, but does not end with Hamza. So the rule says it ends with Hamza. The rule you have in mind is the one that ends like this, Alif Mad and Hamza. If a word ends like this, or in a ta marbuta, or Alif Maksura, then it is feminine. But this is the ending we are discussing, not the beginning, right? The rule is for the ending, not the beginning. Okay? The rule is for the ending, not the beginning. In this case, it's the beginning. So that rule does not apply. Okay? So it cannot be a feminine. It is masculine. Okay? How about the type? How about the type? I'm more after a type. If type is common or proper. I'm so lost. I just want to find the type. I'm not sure if it is type, common or proper. So what do you think it is? It's an idafa fragment, yes, and us having an attached pronoun. Okay. So, and I also know a rule in idafa fragment that the word in the type study of type that we did, that the word before of is proper if the word after of is proper. Yes, that's what we know. Therefore, this kum is going to make ilahun proper. Good, very good, Imran. You're right. It's proper, isn't it? Isn't it? So this whole bit, this entire fragment is effectively proper. It is proper. Okay? And then we have done the properties of ilahun and wahidun, and we know they're not proper, they're common. Right? They're not proper, they're common. So can I say it's proper followed by common and the invisible is here? Is that making sense? Is that making sense? Yeah? Please keep in mind always that you cannot put an is between the fragment by breaking it. For example, I cannot put an is here. This is wrong. After ilahun, I cannot do it. After after ilahu, I cannot do it. After ilahun, I cannot do it. This is wrong. Because if I do this, I'm breaking the fragment. I cannot break the fragment. I can only put an is after the full fragment, after there's no chain. Okay? After there's no chain. Only then. So the first chain terminates here, and when where I've put this is. Okay, at this point in time. At this point. This is where the first chain terminates. Yes? You could always say it's break in the chain because there's no relationship between ilahukum and ilahun. There's also no relationship. But if you look closely, you would be able to apply the rule number 4, proper followed by common. So that makes it a bit more stronger saying it's proper followed by common, although the break in the chain will give you the same result too. Okay? So I just want to make sure that our thinking process is aligned. It's the thinking process we're learning here, okay? Whenever we analyze these things. Okay? Good. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. Ana aksaru minka. So first step, I want to identify all the fragments. All the fragments. That's my first step. Identify all the fragments. And the fragment I see here is minka, right? Which is harf of jar fragment. Harf of jar fragment. There is no other fragment I can see. I don't think aksaru is a fragment. I also don't know. I also don't think ana is a fragment because ana is an independent pronoun. So I've identified all the fragments. Okay. Now I go and identify the invisible is. Okay. So where would be the invisible is? In this case, it's pretty simple, isn't it? So the first rule applies. After independent pronoun, there is an invisible is. Okay. After independent pronoun, there is an invisible is. And because this independent pronoun is before is, I'm going to call it mubtada. This is my mubtada. This is my mubtada, number one. And then I have these two things here. I have aksaru and I have minka. Aksaru and minka. And I know khabar is a ism in rafa state. A khabar is an ism in a rafa state. So I am going to call aksaru a khabar. Number two, I'm going to call aksaru a khabar. Okay. And minka, I know muta'alliq bil khabar is either harf of jar or idafa with zarf. Yes, idafa with zarf. So I'm going to call it number three, muta'alliq bil khabar. So it's a standard Jumla Ismiyah with a standard sequence. Okay, standard Jumla Ismiyah with a standard sequence. Nothing special here. By the way, we forgot the last one to label what was Jumla, what was Mubtada, and what was not. So in this one, ilahukum. So because the part before is mubtada, so this entire ilahukum is going to be a mubtada. In this case, entire ilahukum is going to be a mubtada. What do you think is the part after is the green one? What is green one? What should I label the green one? Ilahun wahidun. What should I label it? Is it a khabar? Is it a muta'alliq bil khabar? What should I label it? It's a khabar. Very good. So it's a khabar. All of this, the entire fragment is a khabar. Okay. It does not have a muta'alliq bil khabar. Okay. Good. Zalika Isa ibn Maryam. Zalika Isa ibn Maryam. Now, step one, identify all the fragments. How many fragments do I see here? I want to know if there's a fragment here. Do you see any fragment here in this statement? Zalika Isa ibn Maryam. Zalika Isa ibn Maryam. Any fragments? Any ideas? Any point of views? What I see here is Isa ibn Maryam and Zalika, right? So I need to find a fragment. Mawsuf Sifa, they could be Idafa, they could be Harf of Jar, Harf of Nasab, they could be pointer fragment. I need to find one of these fragments here because ism-based sentences are usually made up of fragments. Okay, they usually have fragments in them. Right. So what I'm looking here at is Isa ibn Maryam. Okay. Now, if I look at this Ibn Maryam, yes, we have a pointer word. That's correct. But I'm looking for fragments first. If I look at the Ibn Maryam, I can see Ibn is light and it does not have an al. But Maryam doesn't seem to be in jar state. Why? But Maryam doesn't seem to be in jar state. I'm confused. I cannot say it's an idafa until I'm sure Maryama is in jar state. Is Maryama a jar? Is Maryama a jar? This will allow you to bring many concepts together. Yeah? Think about it. Think about it. Is Maryama a jar? Meme. Meme is an attached pronoun. Which pronoun is meme, Talha? I don't remember any pronoun which was meme. Which pronoun is meme? So there was no pronoun meme, right? Yeah, I was thinking the same. You may have mistyped it. So I'm just trying to find the status of Maryama. I just want to know if it is jar or not, but I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like as if it's jar. So if it is jar, then I can label it as an idafa fragment. If it is not, then it is not idafa, right? I'm just I'm just looking to find it. So if you remember flexibility, if you remember flexibility, what is the flexibility of Maryama? Is it fully flexible, non-flexible, or partly flexible? Is it fully flexible, non-flexible, or partly flexible? It's partly flexible. Correct. It's a non-Arabic name, right? The non-Arabic name. It's partly flexible. Excellent. Yes. And when it's partly flexible, can it take a kasra? No, it just cannot take a kasra. Therefore, the nasab and jar form looks the same. Yes, the nasab and jar form looks the same. Therefore, Maryama here is effectively in jar state. It is in jar state. Okay, exactly. Yes, Imran. So it is in jar state because it's partly flexible. So this is an idafa fragment. It's an idafa fragment. Okay. Ibnu Maryama, because Maryama is in jar state because of its partly flexible nature. Okay, it cannot take a kasra. Okay, and there is no relationship between Isa and Ibnu. There's no relationship that I can find between Isa and Ibnu. I may say Isa is light, okay, which is not really the case in case of inflexible isms. You cannot just tell if they are light or not because there's no heavy version as such, right? So Isa, if I just consider it light, even then Ibnu is not in a jar state. It's a rafa, okay? It's a rafa. So there's no relationship. I cannot form this idafa, okay? So Isa stays independent. It's just an ism, independent ism, right here. And then there's Zalika. So the only fragments I find here is Ibnu Maryama, which is Idafa, right? Now I found the fragments. I want to apply the rules for invisible is. And the second rule goes here. There's a pointer. So the invisible is after the pointer. As soon as I find this, I know the Zalika becomes a mubtada. Zalika becomes a mubtada. What is Isa and Ibn Maryam? What is Isa and Ibn Maryam? Which elements are these? Isa is khabar. Okay. Isa is khabar. That's correct. Okay. What about Ibn Maryam? Yes, Isa is Rafa. Isa is definitely Rafa here. Okay. It's non-flexible. There's no reason to call it Nasab or Jar. So Ibn Maryam, I would label Muta'alliq bil Khabar if it was either Harf of Jar, yes, or it was an Idafa with Zarf. Is there any Zarf here operating here? So that is making the Idafa. Ibn means son. Ibn means son. So Ibn is not one of the lists of Zarf that I know. Okay? It's not one of the lists of Zarf that I know. Okay? So Idafa with Zarf is Muta'alliq bil Khabar, right? If it is not idafa with zarf, it is the khabar number 2. It is the khabar number 2. They could be multiple khabars. Okay? They could be multiple khabars. Okay? So the idafa with zarf is MBK. Idafa with zarf is MBK. Okay? This is the standard idafa. Yes, that's a good point. Khabar should be rafa, and you're calling it khabar because the mudaf is rafa. Because the mudaf is rafa. Okay, you're calling it khabar because the mudaf is rafa, where the idafa starts, not where the idafa ends. Okay, so this concept is called this entire fragment is something called fi mahalli rafa. Fi mahalli rafa, meaning in place of rafa. Okay, in place of rafa. Okay, it's called fi mahalli rafa because the status of this entire fragment, you call that it is taking the place of rafa because the mudaf is rafa. Okay, so this tells you that there could be multiple khabars and there could be multiple muta'alliq bil khabars in a ism based sentence. Okay, let's go to this one. So same process. Let's identify the fragments first. I want to know if there are fragments existing here. I want to know if there are fragments existing here. Mhm, mhm. Is there any fragments existing here? Okay. لعل. لا. لعلك. Is it really إضافة? Is it really إضافة? حرف of jar. Are we sure, Imran? Okay, I'm going to in this sentence. I'm going to ignore this part for now. This nafsaka part. Okay. I'm going to ignore this nafsaka part. It is an advanced concept. This is called maf'ul bihi. This is an advanced concept. I'm going to ignore it for now. Okay. So let's do it before that. So let's do everything before here. Here. Okay. So fala allaka. I want to know what is fala allaka. How many words are fala allaka? Okay. How many words are fala allaka? Can we find that? So fala allaka is one word is fa. The second word is la'alla, which is the second, and the ka is the third word. These are three words, right? So fa is just a connector. It's a connector meaning then or so. It's a connector meaning then or so. Okay. Now la'alla. What is la'alla? Is it harf of jar? Read harf of jar in your mind. Ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw. Min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila. Where is la'alla? It is harf of nasab. Correct. It is harf of nasab, not harf of jar. Inna, anna, ka, anna, bi, anna, laita, lakinna, la'alla. La'alla. Okay. So this fragment, la'allaka is a harf of nasab fragment. It's a harf of nasab fragment. Okay. Harf of nasab fragment. Okay. Because it's a harf of nasab fragment, the invisible is going to be after it. Okay. So this becomes mubtada. So this is my mubtada, number one. Okay. Then comes baqi'un. Baqi'un is ism in rafa state. Therefore, I can just clearly say it's a khabar. Okay. Nafsaka is an advanced concept. It's an ism in. You're right. It's an idafa. I agree with you. It's an idafa. Okay. It's an idafa, and it's an ism in nasab. It's an ism in nasab, and you don't know anything in Jumla Ismiyah that plays in nasab, is it? You know either khabar is rafa, and you know mutalik bil khabar as jar majroor or idafa with zarf. Okay, there's nothing that it would fit. This is maf'ul bihi for this baqi'un, which you do not know yet. Okay, so I'm ignoring it for now. Okay, so let's keep our focus on this side. Okay, so you have this Jumla Ismiya, and you have this Mubtada and also the Khabar. Okay. You didn't get the Nafsaka part? Which part? The Nafsaka part? So I'm just trying to ignore the Nafsaka part for now. Okay. It's a bit advanced concept, which inshallah we'll do some other time. Okay. So don't worry about the Nafsaka. Assume it's not there. Okay. Yes. What's the question? Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. But that's an independent lam, Talha. That's an independent nam. Okay. That is an independent lam, just only one letter, right? But here la'alla is a full word that has lam in its spelling, and it starts with lam. Okay, so there is a difference. So this is a full word. La'alla is a full word meaning perhaps, hopefully, maybe. Okay, but lam in itself is just another letter that means for or have. So if any word starts with lam, doesn't make it a lam of harf of jar all the time. Okay, so you have to look at the full context. Which makes me confused. The rule says if harf of jar has attached pronoun, the state is changed to nasab. Which state changes to nasab, Talha? Which state changes to nasab? Whose state changes to nasab? So the rule says that when that harf of jar lam is attached to a pronoun, it starts with a fatha on it, like lahum. Okay, it starts with a fatha on it, lahum. And if it is attached to a normal ism like rusul, it would start with a kasra, like li rasuli, right? But just keep in mind these huruf, this all harf of jars and all harf of nasb, they don't have any concept of state. They don't have it. They don't have a status, number, gender, type. They're not isms, right? So you cannot call them nasab or jar. They're just not. Okay? They're just hurufs. Okay? Only isms can be nasab or jar. So that rule is just to indicate a caveat that when a lam attaches to a pronoun, it starts with the fatha, but doesn't mean the lam has a status of nasab. No, because that doesn't apply to harf. Okay. So when you see a lam, when these things confuse you, for example, la'alla, if you thought that lam is a harf of jar, then why is Allah not jar? Ka we know is attached pronoun, so I cannot attach ka. So why is Allah not jar? You will not find it in jar because it's not an ism at all. Okay? It's that entire harf of jar concept is not applicable here. So if you have those hurufs in your mind, you will inshallah get better at this in identifying this. Okay, I understand the confusion, and that's how it starts. Don't worry about it. You'll get better at this, inshallah. Okay. Today, all we have is practice. We'll just do this practice, inshallah. So there's loads of practice I have for you. So we'll inshallah do this, and it will get better. Ana rabbuka. This should be very easy. This should be very easy. I know. Let me just quickly do it. So invisible is after ana, and I know the fragment is rabbuka. Rabbuka, which is idafa. It's an idafa fragment. Okay. So ana becomes a mubtada, and rabbuka becomes what? What is rabbuka? What is rabbuka? Yes, rabbuka is khabar too. Okay. Rabbuka is khabar. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Very good. Why harf of nasab, Talha? Where do you see the harf of nasab? Where do you see the harf of nasab? Yep, typo. Yeah. Okay. Good. Antum muslimun. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to tell me what is mubtada and what is the other part. The time starts now. Come on, guys. You can do this. It's easy. What is mubtada and what are the other parts here? 30 seconds. I can count too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Good. Excellent. Very good. That was real fun for me counting to 30. But you guys did great, mashallah. Excellent. Yes, invisible is here. Antum is mubtada. Muslimun is khabar. Yeah. Excellent. Wonderful. That's fantastic. You want to take another 30 seconds? Another 30 seconds with Alhamdulillah? Another 30 seconds? Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I won't count. Just sounds weird. So I won't count. I'll just wait 30 seconds for you this time, okay? Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Yes. Alhamdulillah is a mubtada. That's correct. Nana, why don't you replace the N with a J on your keyboard? Yes, Alhamdu is mubtada, correct. It's gonna be invisible is here. Yeah. What about lillahi? What about lillahi? Correct, absolutely, fantastic. Lillahi is muta'alliq bil khabar because it's harf of jar. Very good. Very, very good. Excellent. Now you're getting it, getting it, getting it. Okay. Let's do this one. Give it another shot. Another shot. Be independent. Okay. You know this. I know you can do this. What is mubtada? Only inna? Only inna? I agree. Inna is a harf of nasab. But what exactly is mubtada? So the process should be you find all the fragments first, then you find the invisible is, and then you start labeling. Okay? Think about it, Talha. Think deeply about this. What is the purpose of inna as a harf of nasab? What is the purpose of inna as a harf of nasab? What does it do? As soon as you see harf of nasab, what does it do? So remember, if mubtada can only be an ism, a harf cannot be a mubtada. Okay? We know mubtada is either ism in rafa or, correct, it makes, inna will make ism nasab, right? That's what inna does. That's what harf of nasab does. So which ism is it making nasab right now? Which ism is it making nasab right now? Is there any ism in nasab that inna is impacting? Think about it, guys. It's pretty easy for you. Yeah, I know. I know you know this. I know you know this. Correct? Hazihi? Yes. Hazihi. And you remember, hazihi is nasab here, and all the forms of hazihi look the same. Yes? Rafa, nasab, jar. So inna's ism is hazihi here. Okay? A harf of nasab cannot exist until it makes an ism nasab. There must be an ism around it that it makes nasab. Okay? Just same is the case with harf of jar. There is a reason that harf exists. It cannot independently exist, and that's the definition of a harf. It does not make sense if used alone, right? So inna is making hazihi nasab, okay? And hazihi being inflexible does not show you the status, right? Does not show you the status. So good, very good. Now let's do the labeling and the invisible is quickly. So where is the invisible is, and what is 1, 2, and what is 3? Perfect, Allah. Perfect. Inna hazihi is mubtada. Perfect. Okay. And tazkiratun is khabar. Perfect. Excellent. Yeah. And there is no muta'alliq bil khabar here. Okay. There's no muta'alliq bil khabar here. Okay. Give it a shot to this one. وهو وهو الغفور غفور الودود. وهو الغفور الودود. Think closely. I'll give you a minute. I'll give you a minute. I really want you to do this. Okay? I really want you to do this. Okay? If I keep solving, it's not going to help. So let's do it. Take your time. This class is for practice. Today we're doing practice. There's loads of practice I have for you. I have a next page full of practice for you, which you can take in the week and also practice at home. And then inshallah next weekend, we'll start a new topic altogether. Okay? Yep, huwa is an independent pronoun. What is the status of huwa? I'm just curious. What is the status of huwa? I see a vowel in front of it. Okay, so Talha, you're saying al-ghafuru and al-wadudu are mawsuf sifa, right? Mawsuf sifa. So let's verify the properties. So it's rafa, it's singular, it's masculine, it's proper. Al-ghafuru is rafa, it's singular, it's masculine, it's proper. Perfect. So it's a mawsuf sifa. Okay? Good, verified. Waw is a connector. Okay? What tells you waw is a connector and not a harf of jar? How do I know it's a connector and not a harf of jar? What tells me that it's a connector? I'm just forcing you to think. Okay. When you start thinking all of that, then inshallah, it will get literally on your fingertips. Okay. What is telling me this waw is a connector and not a harf of jar? Any views? No views? If it was a harf of jar, would huwa exist like this? Would huwa exist like this? Huwa is an independent pronoun. An independent pronoun is always what? Rafa. Well, yes. If this waw was a harf of jar, would you have rafa after it? No, you would never have rafa after it. Okay? So because there is an independent pronoun are not a harf of jar because it is not making anything jar. Right? And then there's a rule applies, independent pronoun. After that, it is. Okay. What I said was that huwa is an independent pronoun, just like you said, okay? Huwa is an independent pronoun. An independent pronoun is always rafa, isn't it? It's always rafa. If waw was harf of jar, you would not have this independent pronoun in front of it because independent pronoun is always rafa. You would have something in a jar form, right? You would have something, either a pronoun in some sort of jar state, which really cannot happen with waw, and or you have some other ism that is in jar state. Right now, you have an ism in front of waw that is completely rafa. So that tells you this waw is not making anything jar. Therefore, you conclude it's a connector, not a harf of jar. Okay. Now, huwa is mubtada, as you see. Okay. What about this part? What should I label this part? This is khabar, correct. It's khabar. Excellent. Just an extra information for you here. Sometimes you will find in books and in lessons people labeling these two things as two different khabars. For example, they would say al-ghafuru is one khabar and al-wadudu is another khabar. People also label it like that, but that's also fine. It's okay. I usually just take a fragment and I put it as a label in terms of khabar as a whole. Okay, so people do that as well. Okay? Yes, true. Just so you know. Okay, so if you find something of the sort somewhere else, don't get confused. It's okay. Now, hu Allahu is very simple. I'm not going to ask you to solve it. I'll just solve it for you. Okay. Huwa is independent pronoun. Invisible is after it. So huwa is mubtada and Allahu is khabar. Okay. Excellent. Look what you have done here. So much art. This is a piece of art. This is all piece of art. This is a mathematical analysis of the Arabic grammar. And this looks beautiful. This is what you should do with your books. You should have a Quran for specifically for analyzing, specifically for putting sticky notes on, taking your notes, understanding, decoding, all of that. Make a Quran specifically for understanding it, inshallah. Okay, good. So now what I have is, I have this full exercise here. Okay, I brought this 24 snippets here. This is for exactly this purpose. We can do the Arabic grammatical analysis of all of these throughout this class. How much time is remaining? We have about 15 minutes remaining. Before I start with this, you can also continue this. I just want to do another thing. I just want to show you one thing. Okay, so I just want to do the Arabs of these ayats for you. The Surah Fatiha, the beginning of the Fatiha. I want to do the Arab of the Fatiha with you, so you know. So it completely changes the meaning and the way you look at it. We have done it in the past somewhat. Okay, so let's see if we can. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahman. Okay, so let's do it like that. Okay, so let's do it like this. Okay, so let me make it a bit small. One-liner. Okay, so let's start with the Bismillah. I want to know about the Bismillah. Okay, I want to know about the Bismillah. So what is happening here? Bismi. What is Bismi and Allah? Do you know? Do you know what is happening here? Bismi and Allah. What is this Bismi? What is this Bismi? Can you tell me? This Bismi is effectively a harf of jar, isn't it? Oops. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. So this is effectively a harf of jar. This Bismi is effectively a harf of jar. Okay, this ba and the ismi, harf of jar, right? Then you come Allahi, ismi Allahi. This ismi Allahi. This is idafa. Do you see the idafa here? Do you see the idafa here? Light no al followed by jar. Light no al followed by jar. Okay, light no al followed by jar. So I'm talking about this, the Allahi and ismi here, not the ba itself. Okay, the idafa is between these. I don't know if I can do something. It's okay. So let me just color code them. Try to. Now it's difficult. Let's keep it like this. Okay, so Bismi is a harf of jar and Ismi Allahi is idafa. Okay, you see that? And now if you do four properties of Ar-Rahmani and Allahi, Ar-Rahmani and Allahi, what is the status of Allahi? It's jar, it's singular, it's masculine, and it's proper. Jar, singular, masculine, proper. Jar, singular, masculine, proper. Let me write it up here. Okay, it's jar, it's singular, it's masculine, it's proper. Okay, that's the status of the word Allahi, lafzul jalala. Okay, if you do the properties of Ar-Rahmani, it is going to be jar. You see it, jar. Let me just remove this red line from here. Ignore all. It's jar. Yes, this is jar. Look at it. Jar. Yes. It is jar and it is singular, it is masculine, and it is proper. Jar, singular, masculine, proper. Okay. Let me make them smaller so I can. like this. I hope you can still see them, but it's going to help me just type them a bit neatly. Okay. Okay. Now, if you do these properties for Ar-Rahmani, you will find it as jar. You would find it as singular, as masculine, as proper. Okay. So Allahi and Ar-Rahmani are Mawsuf Sifa. Allahi and Ar-Rahmani are Mawsuf Sifa. So Ar-Rahmani is a Sifa of the Lafzul Jalala, Allah. Okay. Then you move forward and you find Ar-Rahim. And you do the four properties. You find it as jar, you find it as singular, you find it as masculine, and you find it as proper. Isn't it? Okay. So this is Sifa number 2 of the word Allah. So Allah is Ar-Rahman and Allah is Ar-Rahim. So this entire statement, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, it is composed of fragments: harf of jar fragment, idafa fragment, and mawsuf sifa fragment. Okay, this one entirely is one fragment, right? Allahi Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Then you have this Bismillahi. This is another fragment. Let me just label it a bit differently. So try to color code it on this word because it's not on my tablet, so it's a bit difficult here. Yeah, that's a very good point. This is where I was coming, Talha. So I was about to ask, is Bismillah a sentence? Is Bismillah a sentence? No, Bismillah is not a sentence. It is just a fragment. It is a fragment. So sentence gives you a complete information, right? Sentence gives you a complete information. Bismillah is a fragment. It starts some information, it does not complete it. It's not a sentence. And there is a gem behind it that I wanted to tell you. So many opinions and scholarly opinions exist today that say Bismillah is intentionally made by Allah as a fragment because the surah coming after it completes it. The surah coming after it completes it. That's why you go and recite Bismillah in front of every surah, other than the Surah Tawbah. But the surah coming after it completes the entire Bismillah. Okay? Wallahu alam. Wallahu alam. Okay? Allah knows best. But this is one of the point of views I've come to know, that Bismillah is definitely not a sentence, as you can see now. It's a set of fragments only, and the surah coming after it would continue completing the Bismillah. Okay, it completes the Bismillah. Okay? And only Allah knows best, inshallah. Okay. So you should not be looking at Bismillah in the same way again. So it's not a sentence, it's a fragment. Okay. Now let's come to the Alhamdulillah part. I want to do this with you as well. Okay. Okay. I have to make it small. I hope you'll be able to read it. Alhamdulillah. It's too small, isn't it? It's too small. Is it too small? Okay. Wait a second. Okay. Let me change the lines so we can do it a bit more neatly. Sorry about the. It's not easy to manage Arabic in the Word document. It's easier on the tablet, but I don't have this on my tablet. So, okay. Now, Alhamdu. What is Alhamdu? Alhamdu. Let's do the grammatical analysis of this. Let's do this. It is an ism in Rafa. I see it. I want you to tell me if it is a sentence or not. I want you to look for mubtada, khabar, muta'alliq bil khabar, whatever you find. Okay, I want you to look for it. Okay, so what is Alhamdu? Is there a relationship between alhamdu and lillahi? We have done this, right? So we know alhamdu is a proper ism in rafa. It's in rafa. Okay, it's in rafa state, and it is a mubtada. You agree with me? You agree with me? It's a mubtada. Correct. It's a mubtada. Do you agree with me? Do you see how it's mubtada? It's a proper followed by common. It's a proper followed by common. Or you could also call it, in fact, not proper followed by common, it's break in the chain, because the word after it is a harf. And there's no concept of common, right? So it is a break in the chain. It's a break in the chain. The invisible is going to be somewhere here after alhamdulillah, after alhamdu. Okay? Invisible is here. Alhamdu is a mubtada. Okay? Number one, let me write M here as well. It's a mubtada. And then lillahi is a harf of jar, right? It's a harf of jar. Lillahi is harf of jar. So I can say it's a harf of jar because there is a lam of harf of jar here, right? There's a lam of harf of jar here. Okay. Now before I start labeling if it is mutalik bil khabar or a khabar, let's look a bit forward as well. Let's look a bit forward as well. So then I find Rabbi. Rabbi. Is there a relationship between Lillahi and Rabbi? You find any relationship here between Allahi and Rabbi? Any relationship? If you do the four properties of the word Allahi here, if you do the four properties of the word Allahi, let me, so difficult to manage here. Wait a second. Yes, it's a Mawsuf Sifa. You're right, Imran. It's a Mawsuf Sifa. So what I was about to do is the four properties of the word Allahi. Okay, this would give you, if you do the four properties of Rabbi, you would find that this is Mawsuf Sifa. So the four properties of Rabbi would be jar, it's singular, it's masculine, and it's proper. Why proper? Because there is a relationship between Rabbi and Al-Alamina as well. Okay, and then you go the properties of Allahi, which is going to be jar, singular, masculine, proper. Okay, same properties, same properties. Okay, here, and then the relationship between Rabbi and Alamina. This relationship. There's a relationship here. Okay, which is idafa, isn't it? It's an idafa relationship here. It's an idafa relationship, and therefore Rabbi is proper because there is al-alamina, right? The al-alamina is proper, therefore it makes Rabbi proper. Correct. Correct. Right? You all see that. Okay. Now this is entire chain. This is going on. There's no break in the chain so far. There's no break in the chain so far. Let me make it different color. Okay. Let me make it different color. So there is no break in the chain so far. Okay, it's going on and on. It started with harf of jar, and then it connected with Rabbi, and then Rabbi connected with Al-Alamin. Okay, and the Rabbi connected with Al-Alamin. Okay, so because, listen to me carefully, because Rabbi is connected to Allahi as Mawsuf Sifa, this is Mawsuf Sifa, right? Mawsuf Sifa. Because Rabbi is connected to Allah as Mawsuf Sifa, and Rabbi is also connected to Al-Alamina, you would say this entire thing, Rabbil Alamina, is a Sifa of Allah. Okay, Rabbil Alamina. It's a sifa of Allah. The entire idafa is a sifa of Allah. Okay, the entire idafa is a sifa of Allah. So this is one sifa of Allah. Okay, and it's all connected. It's all connected. Okay. Now then you go Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahmani. If you do the four properties of Ar-Rahmani, you would find again both of these would be, both of these are, let me do it quickly. Both of these are jar, singular, masculine, proper, right? Jar, singular, masculine, proper. Both of them. Both of them. And what is the four properties of the word Allahi? Jar, singular, masculine, proper. So these are another two sifas of Allah. These are another two sifas of Allah. Okay? So this chain continues. This chain continues, starting from Lillahi, and then Rabbil Alameen being first sifa, and Ar-Rahmani second sifa, and Ar-Rahimi the third sifa. The third sifa of the word Allah here. Of the word Allah. This is the Mawsuf. The word Allah here is the Mawsuf. Rabbil Alameen is a sifa number 1. Ar-Rahmani is a sifa number 2. Ar-Rahimi is a sifa number 3. Okay? Okay? I'll come to that, Talal. Just understand the connection first. I'll explain that. I'll explain that. Okay? Just hold that thought for a while. Hold that thought for a while. I'll explain that in a minute. I just want you to understand this relationship, this chain that is going on here. Okay? I really want you to understand this, and then I'll come back to your question. Okay? So, do you understand this chain so far? That Rabbil Alameen is one sifa of the word Allah, and Ar-Rahman is another sifa of the word Allah, and Ar-Rahim is another sifa of the word Allah, and how they are connected. Right? Do you all understand this? That's great. Then you go to Maliki. Then you go to Maliki, and you do the four properties of Maliki. It's jar, it's singular, it's masculine, and it's what? Proper or not? For now, it looks like common, isn't it? It looks like common, but let's go forward a bit. Maliki is also light, and it has noal, and it is followed by, we need to come back to common again. So we'll come back to the common again. Maliki is also light, it has noal, and it is followed by jar. So I can say Maliki Yawmi is an idafa. Maliki Yawmi is an idafa. Okay? This is one idafa. Okay? This is idafa for me. And then I move forward and I say, okay, Yawmi and Ad-Dini. Yawmi is also light. It does not have an al, and it is followed by jar. Okay? So this is another idafa. This is another idafa, right? You see that? Then I see there is an al on the ad-dini. There's an al on the ad-dini. This al, look at this al. Okay? So this al is going to make yawmi proper, isn't it? This al is going to make this yawmi proper. Ad-dini makes yawmi proper, and because the yawmi becomes proper, what does Maliki become? What does Maliki become? What does Maliki become? Does it become proper? You see that? Excellent. Correct. It becomes proper. Originally we thought it was not, but if you look at this chain, it becomes proper. This is a chain reaction. So all of this is also connected, right? All of this is also connected, right? And this entire thing from here, this is sifa number 3. This is sifa number 3. Yes, correct. This is sifa number 3. This is sifa number, not 3. This is 2 and 3. This is sifa number 4 here, sifa number 4, and this one here is going to be, here we have sifa number 1. Okay, I'm referring to the Rabbil Alameen part. Okay, not Alhamdu here. Okay? Sifa number 1. Let me just write up here. That's better if I write up here. Sifa number 1 here. Okay, see that this entire thing is connected. Now what happens here is I take, because lillahi was harf of jar, I sometimes get confused because when we read this, we read as Yawmuddin. Yes, because that's a tajweed thing, Talha. That's a tajweed thing, because when you end a statement, you sometimes avoid reading the harakat. Okay, that's a tajweed thing. It doesn't have to do anything with grammar. Okay, it's a tajweed thing. So from the grammar happens when you look at it and then you try to decode it. Okay. Yeah, and Yawmuddin is because that's a tajweed. When you have a shadda on the word after al, so you skip the sound of al. You skip the sound of al. If I ask you to read it like Yawmi al-Dini, it's going to be much difficult for you than saying Yawmiddini. Okay? So it's a tajweed thing. So when you have a shadda after al, then you connect the letters and connect the sounds and you skip the sound of al. Okay? It's a tajweed thing, not a grammar thing. Okay? So what I'm coming to, I'm just conscious of time. It's just overrunning a little bit. So what I'm trying to tell you here is this entire thing from Lillahi, we said it's a harf of jar. We said it's a harf of jar. Okay, that's what we said. Which color should I use? Pink. Okay, we said it's harf of jar, and harf of jar is muta'alliq bil khabar, isn't it? Harf of jar is muta'alliq bil khabar. So this entire thing, all the way up to the end here, this entire red part is muta'alliq bil khabar. Is muta'alliq bil khabar. And the mubtada is alhamdu, and mubtada is alhamdu. Okay, so this entire thing becomes muta'alliq bil khabar. This is number 3, MBK. Everything in red. Okay, everything in red becomes muta'alliq bil khabar. I'm just trying to make it understandable for you guys. Okay, okay. Oops. Okay, you understand? Alhamdu is, I'm messing up big time. Yeah, Lillahi. So alhamdu is the mubtada, and all the way from lillahi to yawmiddin is muta'alliq bil khabar, because it's all connected. It's all connected. Okay, you see so many fragments operating here. It's so many the entire change going on. This is so mathematical. You just have to keep on analyzing, going forward, just keep understanding the relationship between the words. Next time when you do the salah and you read it, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, you should keep in mind that Alhamdu is a mubtada and means all praises and gratitude are lillahi, for Allah. And now you're defining the sifas of Allah. He's a Rabbul Alameen, he's a masters of the universe, he's a Rahman, and he's a Rahim, and he's a Maliki Yawmiddin. He's the owner of the day of the judgment. Okay? You see that? So this should change the way you look at Surah Fatiha. Okay? This should change the way you look at Surah Fatiha from now on. Inshallah. Okay? So try to do the same Arabs for the Surah Fatiha at home, and also try to do these exercises that I've just shown you here. I will send these exercises to you, inshallah. I'll send these to you, so you can you can do that at home, practice them, and in the next class, if you have any questions, we'll do it. And in the next class, we'll also start the study of fails. I will also work on the test, and try to send you something so you can practice and assess what you have done so far. I hope it was not too late this time, and I hope you managed to capture most of it. So if not, just watch the recordings, and inshallah, it will be fine. Okay, so don't give up. It gets interesting going forward. So for the good work, and I will see you next weekend, same time, same channel. Until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.